Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Good evening, my friends. This is Angy Stewart from INNERLIGHT here on Kardec Radio, and we are live. It's Thursday, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. We had some technical difficulties, but I hope everything will be fine and we will have no problem. So, as always, we are studying this beautiful book, Heaven and Hell, and we will be talking today about the chapter 10. And throughout our discussion, our comments, you all can ask your questions, can make your comments, can invite friends to participate. I will be reading your questions, your comments, and I will be putting through our guests so we can all answer and we can have this better interaction. This will be always much, much better when we can interact with you all. Just few reminders before we start. If you are here in Miami and you would like to come in person to our Spiritist Center, it is on Coral Way. It's called Mia INNERLIGHT, and it is on Coral Way. Is in between Brickell and Coconut Grove. So it would be a pleasure to have you here. And there are other announcements we would like to put through, but I will wait for more friends to come. I can tell you during the program or at the end when we are finalizing. So just to remind you, we studied this book, Heaven and Hell, chapter 10, and at the end, we studied this book, What is Spiritism? It's a summary of Spiritism with the main points of Spiritism. So it's good for the ones that are already Spiritists and to the ones that are also learning, trying to understand it a little bit better. So we are going to start. I hope you have your bottle of water, and we are going to do our initial prayer very quickly to connect with higher spirituality, and then I will invite our guests for tonight. God, our Mother and Father, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. At this moment, we would like to ask the enlightened spirits to approach all of us, not only the ones that will be talking tonight, but also to our friends that will be listening, will be participating, even in the recorded version, so they can have their minds more open, their hearts more connected, so they can fully understand the messages we will be passing through. Thank you so much, and so be it. Very good, very good. I see some friends online. This is very nice. Hello, Sonia. How are you? Julio, I see Claudia is here too. I see Mary, Sandra, Julia. Oh, Julia, Kika, Juan. Very, very good. Let's bring our guest, Mark. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Very well, Angela. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm better that I'm here with you. This is great. Thank you for being with us. We are super excited that you are a California boy, but you are soon becoming a Florida boy. That's even nicer to have you closer to me in your life. That's exciting.
And at this age, it's always great to be called boy.
I'm excited. This is great. This is great. Let me bring our second guest, is our dear Claudia. Hello, Claudia. How are you?
You.
Very good to have you here.
Can you hear me?
Very, very low. My computer is with a problem. I can barely hear our guests tonight, just to let you all know. This is more exciting. I have to use my mediumship to understand my own guests. Oh my God, unbelievable. But very good. Let's start. So hello, everybody. You all know Claudia and Mark. They are always with us in our Tuesday studies. and I see here more people joining, but let's not waste time. It's already 9:10 when we start the study. The time flies. So we are starting with our book Heaven and Hell. We will be talking through the chapter 10. So I will read a little bit of the beginning, and then I will open up to our guests to comment. But all of you participating, please write your messages, write your questions, your comments, and I will be sharing so we can all read and we can all participate, okay? So the title of chapter 10 is Intervention of Demons in the Spirit Manifestations of the Present Day. I know that when you see the word demons, you're already like, what is that? This is crazy. I don't want to hear about demons. But listen, the name of the book is Heaven and Hell.
Oh,
Heaven and Hell. So what do you think is in hell? Just to stop my jokes for now, this book was written in the 1800s. So the language used in this book is very old. Nowadays, we really don't talk about this anymore. We don't say like, oh, the devil. Oh, we kind of use devils like to joke when someone is really perturbed and drive us crazy. But in that time was really related to evil spirits. So we will be talking about the evil spirits, not really demons. So we will go through it with the chapter. So don't run away just because you heard demons, okay? So I will read number 1, and then we will comment the rest. So number 1 comes the modern spirit phenomena have called attention to the facts of a similar character that have taken place at all epochs. And never has history been so truly ransacked in search of those facts as during the last few years, from the similarity of effects, men have interfered the action of one and the same cause, as in regard of all extraordinary facts of which the cause is unknown. Ignorance has assumed the supernatural nature of the phenomena referred to, and superstition has amplified them by the addition of various absurdities. Hence, the mass of legends, which for the most part are mixtured of a small amount of truth with a much larger amount of falsehood. So, this is the first portion that already brings what Kardec was observing in the 1800s. So lots of things that we cannot understand, or there are not enough facts to prove it. They can generate a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of things can be misinterpreted, and things can be created. A lot of falsehood can happen. So it's important for us to understand what would be possible and what would not be possible. So before I let them talk, when we see the word demon, I just mentioned, everybody gets like, I don't want to ever see a demon, for example. No, nobody wants to see a demon. And we are not even in Halloween yet. I know in Halloween, everybody gets a little bit more excited about it, especially here in America. But let's start talking. So, my friends, what can we tell our friends online here about demons? Are demons real or what? How can we better define demons? I think that would be a best way to start.
if I may, I'll take a
Sure.
stab at this. I think the best description for demons is the idea of a lower quality of spirit. So there are higher spirits and lower spirits. And for those of you who have memories of cartoons on television, there's a lot of cartoons that would show a devil and an angel on either side of a person's brain. And so that means that that inner voice is constantly telling you good or not good, good or evil. And in some cases, that evil voice is saying, yeah, this is wrong, but it's okay. And sometimes the good voice is saying, no, 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 it's not okay. And we humans get the opportunity to exercise our free will and follow one of those voices. A demon is simply a lower spirit that will take away from the desired path.
Because the sound here is very low for me to hear, I'm like, okay.
I stopped talking.
Before we comment anything, let me just put a funny thing that Mary put. I just watched the Pope's Exorcist and recommend it. So good must be a new movie. I'm not even aware of it. Mary, just let us know. Is it a movie that's right now on TV, on Netflix, or is it on the movie theaters? But Claudia, do you want to add anything?
I actually brought the picture of what Mark has. It's on my other upload if you want to just flash the screen. Um, you see the little demo, the little devil and the little angel. You can take that away if you want, but uh, it's very interesting how our brain works, right? We sometimes we want to give away the job of our bad influences to somebody else, but it's hard to tell when it's us trying to do something against ourselves because we don't really believe in what's going on. And sometimes it's just this influence that comes from the outside that feels exactly like your own thoughts trying to work against the bigger thing that you're trying to accomplish. So it's very peculiar um, when you are trying to fight this influence because it's a different strategy you'd use to defend yourself from your own self and from an outside being. So the devil is really, for me, what puts you in check. It's that little fright that you have. It's what makes you try to do better than you would if you didn't have to deal with the devil influence.
Good, good. I like the analogy that you used. And what about the common devil that the people talk about the spirits? Like when we see in Halloween movies, when we see all the devil, the exorcist, all those movies that portray those absolutely terrifying spirits. And I just saw um, a movie call right now a few minutes ago that someone was watching a TV and the TV went like shh, and suddenly appears like a horrible image and this girl is sucked in the TV.
Wow.
So, what can we talk about this? Is this something possible? Is this what people watch and they're like, I don't want this. I want to be away from this type of things. And unfortunately, many times when they hear, oh, what is this that you study? And I say, oh, I study spiritism, the spiritist philosophy. Oh, what is this? Oh, we follow the Spirit's book. Oh, Spirit's book. This is something from the devil, from the movies, from the TV screen that suck people in. So we need to make people aware and understanding the big differences, because there is lots of misinterpretation, and a lot of people are afraid. They are afraid of spiritism just because of the names of the books. For example, this book that we are reading right now, Heaven and Hell, you have no idea of how many people I know, and some of them are spiritists, or they at least they watch lectures, and they said, I never read that book, I'm afraid of that title. And I'm like,
That works better.
what? You are afraid of the title? And I said, that's why Kardec picked up this title, because the intention was really to clarify the dogmas from the past and bring to nowadays and help us to understand the difference of what was understood of heaven and hell in the past to bring to our days. Because Spiritism nowadays explains that the heaven is not a bunch of clouds with chubby cherubims playing the beautiful instrument, and you end up there and you get mesmerized with them. I'm like, oh, how cute, how cute. Imagine in 10 minutes, I would be like, okay, I want to get out of here. It's cute, but that's it. That's good for me. And heaven, hell is not that other image that we have in our head. That's that man with horns and is all red with that gigantic soup can with like moving and throwing people inside. This is was like my idea of hell in the past. And in my time, I had the purgatory. That was like a middle ground.
In between.
Yes, exactly. My mother-in-law, who is Catholic, she told me they abolished purgatory. So suddenly purgatory disappeared.
Disappeared.
And then we're like, okay. So that's why it's good for us to understand what does it mean to a spiritist. So Claudia, Mark, go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about how is your vision of a hell. And then Claudia, you can talk. What is your vision of a heaven? And then we can compare. And all of you who are listening, if you could put your questions or you put your comments, what you think about my questions, would be great. So we could all interact. Okay, go ahead, Mark. Hell.
I would begin by saying that hell is a concept. And there was a time when the devil was also a concept, because it was a technique to put fear in the minds of humans. And by doing so, they could communicate through fear the way not to be, the way not to act. You know, if you think about the 10 Commandments, it's don't kill, and so on and so on. But I think once you understand the myth that there was a supreme demonic being overseeing a place called hell and overseeing other demonic beings, once you get rid of that idea, then you can more easily accept the fact that whatever we thought hell was, it's not. Hell is something completely different. And I think that until you rid yourself of this life and move into the next, you won't know anything about whether there is a hell and to what degree it might be uncomfortable. Now, the movies have done a pretty good job of giving you a vision to support what Kardec's text has said that the afterlife is like. And I just would say that to some, that may be similar to what you might think hell would be. And to others, it may appear that it's not nearly that way at all. It's something completely different. And so I believe it becomes, as Kardec would say, it's a very individual aspect with individual elements that contribute to that sensation of, well, what is this place? And
Yeah.
is this like a hell, or is this more or less like a hell?
Yes, yes. Yeah, as you said, that we will only know 100% when we cross over. But as in Spiritism, we are familiar with mediumship. We have many examples of mediumship throughout many mediums, and we are actually we can mention the Chico Xavier, the Brazilian medium, that has many books, has over 400 books, and in many of those books, some spirits that are beings that were people like me and you who died, and they went through him, through his mediumship, to tell how they woke up in the other side. So, as you mentioned, depending on their actions, will be how they wake up. They will wake up feeling good, in a nicer place, seeing family members they loved, or they will wake up sick in a dark area, feeling all kinds of pains with people they don't know. So, why are those differences? And we need to study to understand. It's not like a 5-10 minutes explanation that will help you, but everything is about how we live life. Do you live doing good? Do you live forgiving? Do you live doing something good towards others? Or do you live in hatred, in bitterness, and even other people like committed horrible crimes that maybe the law of man didn't pick up, but the law of God, nothing escapes. So before I leave Claudia to talk about heaven, let's see a few of the comments. So Juan mentioned good and evil spirits are not different beings. They are same, but at different degrees of advancement. Exactly. Exactly, Juan. Like us, good beings, not good beings, more or less beings. And when they die, they live throughout how they wake up, like how they lived here on earth. And then Julius said, in a scale of spiritual evolution is infinite. We are considered very evolved. We are considered very evolved to some spirits, but it's still very backwards to others. Exactly. To some spirits, we are super backwards. To others, we are a little bit more advanced. And then he continues, to the very backward ones, we would appear angelic, and to the highly evolved ones, demonic. Obvious, more evolved spirits understand that we are not demons, but merely spirits still in development. Exactly. Very, very good. So I see Claudia is connecting something. So let me read another comment. So Julia mentioned, my humble opinion, we create in our minds both heaven and hell. All the situations we are living are to show us a new path and new knowledge to grow. That us our that must be that is our free will. Yes, Julian, it's very good. We use our free will all the time. And as I mentioned in our class this Tuesday, two people can have the exactly same situation, the exactly same problem. They are both in pain because the situations are painful. But one of them is living through a situation that it's always saying, oh, poor me, this shouldn't happen to me. I'm a good person. Now I'm so miserable. So this person is actually going through this process of oh, this only happens to me. I'm such a good person. It is making it painful. So it is that there is a difference from something that is pain and how do I call the other one? Uh, uh, Pain is something that we all feel. but the process of feeling sorry for itself is something that makes it worse. And we should never feel sorry for ourselves, because this happened to me, but it can happen to anyone. So we need to see the future and improve, and try to see what can we improve from this situation. We all go through pain, but we can improve from that. So, Claudia, what can you talk about heaven?
I haven't died in this life, right? So I can't tell you what heaven is on the other side. They make us forget once we get here. So the way that I see it is our choices is what allow us to be in heaven or in hell in our day-to-day lives. Your state of mind is what will dictate 100% of how much are you living and compactuating with spirits that are connected more to heaven or connected more to hell. Your habits, the places you go, the type of news that you listen to, the type of friends you associate with, and why you associate with them. Because you may be associated with Dalai Lama and know him personally, but the reason you associated with him is because you want some of his fame. So, although he may be your friend, your reason is not the right reason. So, you're in hell. He's in heaven, but you're in hell. So, it all depends of your intentions and what do you expect as an outcome of all your interactions. And I'm talking all of them, with the people you don't not know in the supermarket, with your bosses, with your direct family, sons, kids, mothers, daughters, significant others, and so on and so forth. So all these interactions go down to what we read in the gospel that says, pray and watch first and then pray, because you have to understand why are you in those interactions or relationships, however you want to call them, and what is the best outcome that can happen in any situation. And I think that is what brings you closer to heaven every day.
That's very good. That's very good. We are talking in a big scale of things, but like, for example, if we talk in a little scale, little things that happen in our days, they could be little heavens and little hells. One example, for example, someone is on a diet and suddenly goes to a place and the person has all these phenomenal desserts and comes to offer to you, like me yesterday in my office, that they had like a huge party with all kinds of desserts, all kinds of pies, and every single minute someone comes to me with some kind of chocolate, and I'm like, no, I'm resisting, but okay. Arrived one time, I picked up a big one, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat this one. So I ate. I was in heaven for 2 minutes, so I'm like, God, it's delicious. I finished. Okay, I didn't finish everything, but I finished half of that gigantic thing. 5 minutes later, I was in hell, because I'm like, all these days that I am dieting, and now what I did. So I had this feeling of remorse. So this is a little tiny scale, just showing you that we fluctuate a lot. And this is a very silly example.
Can you bring the picture that I have up there for us?
Okay, let me see. Anyway, there are so many things that are much, much more, much bigger scale to understand what could be heaven and what could be hell on a daily basis. So, can you make it bigger, Claudia? This is very small. Can you make it bigger in your computer?
Let me try to make it bigger.
So we can see there are two people drinking, and there is a negative spirit
Yeah,
As I,
but think about this. Some of us, during the week, we wait for Fridays to get home and have a glass of wine, or have a glass of beer, or have a glass of whatever the alcoholic beverage is of preference. And that's your little bit of heaven, right? Just like you said it with the cheesecake or whatever it is that you had, the chocolate cake. But you expose yourself to all these other energies that will feed from that same thing, just like your piece of chocolate. Why were you guilty a few minutes later? Because you, with your mediumship, you realized that you stepped in to temptation. Temptation was there, and it had influenced you so much. It wasn't only from the incarnate spirits, for sure. And then, you ended up going into the temptation. Thank God it was only a piece of chocolate that can be recuperated any minute. But, sometimes drinking too much can take us to do crazy things, sometimes even get pregnant and change our lifestyle completely. It could take us into going into a bad neighborhood accidentally because you're a little bit off your mind, and then you can stray away into a not so kosher place and run into some kind of an incident where you can get hit or hurt some sort. So that is why it's so important to keep yourself on the heaven side, so you avoid to have so many encounters with the hell side, right?
very good, very good. So it's important to people to understand that we are not mentioning that you drink one glass of wine and then you have an evil spirit right with you. But these are people that, little by little, you start making this occasional thing, social thing, a habit. And that's what is dangerous. And it's dangerous physically because we know that the alcoholism is something physical that happens to a lot of people, but it is also spiritually. And that's what we usually talk about spiritually, because we can see the spiritual influence. And that's what we are going to be talking about now. We are going to talk about the negative influence of negative spirits on our daily lives. So let me just read a few more comments. So Julius said we are influenced by spirits of varying degrees of evolution, and based on our own evolution, we classify the message coming from good or evil. Yes, it could be. It could be this, Julio. We have always to think whatever attitude we want to take towards others. We have to think: would I like this to happen to me? If I say yes, then it's a good thing. If I say no, not to me, because I would never do that to deserve this. So this is like, be careful. You don't want to do to others what you don't want for yourself. Mary says, I noticed there is only one like for the video and mine. Let's make sure we all give a like before the end. Oh, thank you, Mary. Very, very nice. Thank you. So, Julio mentions, indeed, a place we will consider heaven or hell depending on how tuned we are to that place. Very good, Julio. Exactly. So now, Mark and Claudia, let's talk more specifically about spiritual influences in our life, because that's exactly what Kardec explains in this whole chapter. Spiritual influences in our life, and he was talking directly about the understanding from the past of evil spirits influencing our life. So pretty much like the picture that Claudia showed us, there was a negative spirit on top of the couple drinking. This is something that can happen to us. So, Mark, why do we attract this type of spirits? And Claudia, what can we do to avoid this type of attraction? So let's go. Mark, tell us why we do that, how we manage to attract the negative spirits in our daily lives.
So there can be multiple sources. For example, something from our past life that was not resolved and carries forward. And there's an individual that we encounter in this life. And of course, we have no knowledge of the prior life. But now there is something in front of us in the way of a challenge with this individual. And the circumstances could be all over the map. However, the most common presence is what we do in this lifetime. So at whatever point in our journey, we come to a fork in the road where we can choose to go left or right. And going left perhaps is the wrong direction, and we know it, but there's something attractive about going in the wrong direction. And sometimes the right direction is going right, and there's something boring about going in the right direction. And so it can be for a variety of different reasons that we don't choose well. Now, in this lifetime, if that scenario repeats itself, it's probably because we have established a pattern that is attractive to lower spirits, negative spirits, who love nothing more than to see us derailed and going in the wrong path, going in the wrong direction. And it could be something trivial or it could be something significant. It could have to do with a manner in which a man interacts with a woman or another man. You know, sexuality doesn't really matter here. It's the interaction of the two humans. And if you are an ego-driven, prideful man, then perhaps you like to play dominant and want things done your way or else. And that can manifest itself in a variety of different ways. But again, if that becomes a habit or a pattern, then chances are there's some involved lower spirits helping to present the opportunities for you to continue doing the wrong thing.
Very good, Mark. And as Julia mentioned before, this can be happening to us, but we will always have our free will. Free will is so important. But yes, the evil influences can come sometimes very strongly, sometimes connections from past lives, but most of the times bad connections from this lifetime. So, Claudia, tell us how we can avoid this type of situation.
So, I love my pictures, and one of the ones that I chose for today, it's up already. So if you can bring it in, that'll be great. So we all know this character, right? He is a beloved character to. I think I gotta put my glasses on to make this a little bigger.
Can you put full screen in your computer?
Yeah, I just did.
Show bigger.
Sorry, I was looking for the place to click. So this guy is very famous, right? He is Iron Man. But a lot of people, or some people know, some people may not know, that he was a very bad guy. Extremely bad guy. He was extremely influenced by bad spirits. And there is always angels in our lives. And most of the time, because they are the boring ones or the boring path, like Mark said, we avoid them or we tend not to listen to them. But the guy next to him was his medium angel, if I could say it that way, because he was able to assist in his recuperation. So much so that now he is the actor that he has become. So the good thing that we can do to keep in the right path is that associate our people with the right people. Not sometimes the most popular, not sometimes the most fun, Although I consider Angela pretty cool and she's very popular and very fun. Not all fun people and popular are bad, but in general, we tend to go for popularity and fun the wrong way and not the right way, right? And that is what we got to do. We just got to find the people that will complement us and elevate us.
Yes, yes. And Claudia, what's the name of the actor? I forgot.
What's
Robert
his yeah?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
what's his friend's name? John something. What was it?
Oh,
Um,
I forgot.
no, but why you guys remember when I was a teenager, I watched a movie with
You can
Robert,
take the image down.
and then I watched the movie with him, and he was like so super handsome. I was absolutely in love with him. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I was a teenager, and he was teenager too. And I remember in the movie, unfortunately, certain things go wrong, and he starts making usage of a cocaine in the movie. And many years later, he mentioned that right in that movie, he really started using.
Where that's what everything started. Yeah.
So this was like a movie becoming reality and becoming really like a nightmare in his life. Because, in many interviews, he already said that, like so many other people, you have addiction and you try to stop, you try to quit, but there are many things, like Mark was mentioning, like many evil spirits that maybe influence other people, the not so good friends, to come to offer to him or to ask him to join. And then he just got so entangled and he almost died from it. He almost lost his career, everything.
Yep.
As Claudia mentioned, there are angels in our lives, not only spirits, but there are angel spirits who inspire good people. Sometimes they are our family members, sometimes they are friends, sometimes they are unknown people that come and say, listen, let's not do it, let's do something else, come with me. Oh, come to the Spiritist Center, this place that is unknown for you, but they might help you. So there are things, but throughout all these opportunities, we, as Julia mentioned, we always have free will. Our
Mm.
free will is what decides. So we can be exposed to everything, but we are the ones who ultimately accept or reject. I know it's very difficult, it's easy to talk, but that's why we need support, we need help. That's why God sends us with family that helps us with sometimes we have families that are our friends, they help us. So we are never alone, but we need to pay attention to the signs. And yes, these angels come, but what are other things we can do in order to get this help? So we talk about the Spiritist Center. So in the Spiritist Center, we have a group of people that are tuned because they are with the same goal of learning about spirituality, this big unknown, as Mark said, as Claudia said, she didn't die in this life yet, and I'm glad. Even if a few weeks ago a few months ago we were talking about near death experience,
Yeah.
die and they return. They die and return to tell us if it was good or not. But we can go to the Spiritist Center. We can attune with this new group of friends who are trying to do positive things. We can do charity. In a Spiritist Center can help with many different charitable works. We can receive the free therapy of healing passes. Is this positive energy that goes through your body There are fraternal counseling. If you're going through a problem, you can talk to someone that will give you a different input. And there are also longer therapies of 5 weeks where a group of people will be praying for you or for someone else, and you will be connected in their prayers, but in your own home. So there are many different options, and I'm talking just about the Spiritist Center, in addition to all of this. So the thing is, there are evil spirits, yes, but there are great spirits also. We are attuned to them depending on our thoughts and our actions, using our free will, as we mentioned. So don't live in fear. Live life the best. Try to follow the good examples. As Claudia mentioned, watch your friends. Are they really friends? Are they interested in something you have? Think, if I go through a problem, this person can help me or this person is going to go away. I always say you can have thousands of friends on Facebook, Instagram, so many social medias, but you only count in the fingers of one hand, not even two hands, one hand. When you go through a problem and you need help, this five, only five, and sometimes not even five, will be the people that you will be able to contact, ask for help, and they will say, I am so busy, but I'm going to help you. I will do something. So think about it. Let's
one more thing we forgot to mention is gospel at home, right?
Yes, very good. Very good. The God at home is another thing. It's another type of therapy that spiritists do it for a long, long time. I have done it for 20 something years in different, sometimes in different days. And it is in our home, and we do with our family, and sometimes we do with our friends. Nowadays, internet is a blessing. We can do with many people online, each one in their own home. We pray together, we study. So me, Mark, Claude, and so many other people do it for quite a while. We are doing online, and we will soon be opening to people that would like to join us too. So this is another opportunity to implement in our house this extra protection, because when we do the God at home in our houses, we attract the good spirits, and these good spirits create this spiritual barrier that they do not allow any kind of negative spirits to go there. And when people do the God at home for a long time, some people call God at home, others call gospel at home. So when they do this for a time, these spirits are, the good spirits are established there. And that's why you come from your work with a difficult day, all kinds of problems. You open the door of your house and you're like, I feel so good here. It's because it's almost you're receiving a blessing of good vibrations from your home because it's well protected. So you leave your problems outside, and it's almost like when you were tired and you are sad, and your mom arrives with open arms and come here, my dear, and you're like, ah, that type of sensation. Very good. Thank you, Claudia, for reminding me of this. So Julio mentioned, indeed, a place will be considered heaven and hell, depending of how you tune to that place. I think I already read this one. And then, hi, Yvonne. Long time I don't see you. Yvonne said that we really have to be self-aware of our actions and pray also. Exactly, Yvonne. We only pray, most of the people only pray to ask, and when they are totally, absolutely desperate. The good thing would be really waking up and say, short prayer. Thank you, God, for allowing me to wake up in the physical realm. And you go throughout your day. And yes, if we are going through something, we should also ask, but we should always be thankful first. Thank you for life. Thank you for my job. Thank you for my house. Thank you for internet so I can connect with my friends. So many things that we can be thankful day by day. And then we say, by the way, I'm having some trouble. If you could help me out with that, some tips on how to do would be awesome. This is something that it's important for us. So Claudia put another picture of a, it's so tiny, but I can see it's a man and a spirit next to her, next to him, reading the same book. Very good, my friends. Let's move on now to the second book that we have and that we study. This one here. Let me just show you. This is What is Spiritism. We have a few minutes. We are going to be doing this item that's called Concerning Spirit. So we only have like 10 minutes. So I will ask you both to read for me just the yellow portion because I already summarized. So it is faster for us to read and make comments. So Mark, could you read it for me, please? Concerning spirits. Just before you go, this item from the book, What is Spiritism? It talks about what everything concerned the spirits. So what were the idea of spirit? So brings us the highlight of what are spirits, and he explains in detail certain items. Okay, Mark.
Spirits are souls of those who used to live on the earth or on other worlds, stripped of their corporeal envelope. People have a mistaken idea about spirits. They are beings like we are, with a body like ours, but fluidic and invisible in its normal state. While the soul is united to the body during life, it possesses a twofold envelope, one heavy, coarse, and destructible, which is the body, the other fluidic, light, and indestructible, called the perispirit. Thus, in the human being, there are three essential components: the soul, or spirit, which is the intelligent principle that harbors the thought, will, and moral sense. Two, the body, which is the material envelope that enables the spirit to relate to the exterior world. And three, the perispirit, which is the fluidic, light, imponderable envelope that serves as the connection and intermediary between the spirit and the body. When the outer envelope is spent and can no longer function, it succumbs and the spirit rids itself of it, as if it were taking off an old and useless garment. This is what is called death.
Okay, before we start commenting about death, Claudia, you can also help us out. A lot of people do not understand what is perispirit. They never even heard of it. So Kardec gives us a little explanation. Mark, do you have some way that's easier to explain people what is this perispirit? Because a lot of people, yes, they heard of a spirit, they know the physical body, but what is this new concept of perispirit?
I like to equate it to a perpetual database. It is constantly updated with every thought, every sensation, every action, every interaction with both the material world and the spiritual world. And it is perpetual in nature because you are born with it, the history of your prior lives, and now you add to it in the current life. And when you die in this lifetime, your perispirit has this permanent record of everything.
Very good. Very good. Exactly. So the Claudia, you want to add anything before I start going on and on and on? Do you want to add anything about perispirit?
Well, the spirit itself, it's let's say like a cloud. It's not really a form like a body. It's formed in a different way. However, it is enveloped by the first layers of the perispirit, which are kind of immaterial and ethereal like our soul is. However, once you're getting ready to be incarnated, you develop like an outer skin, layers of outer skin that grow on the outside of your first layers of the perispirit that envelop your soul. And those layers are the ones that are going to attach to your physical body on a cell by cell level. So every single movement, whether it's a subtle bodily movement that it's not related to your outer body or anything on the outside of your body, it's all related cell to cell. It's the way of connection from your physical body all the way to the essence, which is your spirit.
Very good. So, summarizing what both of them said, we have the physical body, that's this heavy thing that we touch. We have the spirit, that is this cloud, that's this light, that there is no shape, it's light. Hopefully, it's light and not darkness. Then there is a perispirit, that this is the semi-material essence that connects the physical body with your light, and this is in the same shape of your physical body, of your last existence.
You can
So
show a picture if you want.
me, Angela, oh good. So imagine here, it's so tiny for us, Claudia. This is the biggest image of
This is my biggest image.
yeah, I don't know why it only shows a small, but anyway, so this in if I'm understanding the image here, so the red is the physical body, then you have the spirit, that's the light. I barely can see what is written.
Double etheric.
Oh, the double. Oh, this is another concept. It's a little bit confusing for them, but let's
No, but
focus.
this is perispirit, and this is the spirit. And this
Yes.
is all the connections that go with it. So the perispirit is a thin layer that envelops the spirit that will modulate as our body and will be connected through the double etheric to our physical body cell to cell. This is what makes it possible.
Yes. So physical body, spirit, and the perispirit. So this is in the shape of your physical body, of your actual existence. There are many other concepts that we could talk later, but this is the main thing for you to understand. So let's
Basic,
just
yeah.
finalize. Claudia, if you could read these items for us, so we talk a little bit about.
Sure. Death is nothing but the destruction of the material envelope. The soul abandons it like a butterfly leaving its chrysalis. However, it retains its fluidic body or perispirit. The body's death frees the spirits from the envelope that has bound it to the earth and made it suffer. Its ethereal body, which allows it to travel space and traverse distances at the speed of thought. Soul, perispirit, and physical body comprise the human being. Soul and perispirit comprise the being called the spirit.
Very good. Let's stop here. So, what can we talk about this? Because it's funny, like death, everybody understands about death. Not really. So, it's important for us to understand the death of the physical body. But So, Claudia, what survives?
So you see, when I started to explain, I started with the soul and not the body. So the process of this incarnation goes backwards on the concept of perispirit. The body that it got attached to the spirit lastly is what will go first. And as I mentioned, is connected cell to cell. So all these connections, even before the body decides or starts to not exist anymore, uh, get disconnected. All these connections slowly go disconnecting or abruptly if it's a very abrupt death. But everything is planned and it happens within its time due. But once all these connections are taken away, the body on earth gets put in through processes, so no more fluids flow and all of that, and then it gets put in to whatever situation that is going to be preserved, whether it's ashes, whether it's being buried, or whatever it is that is happening to that body. But the only thing that will actually die is that physical body that you've seen, which has been proven many times over again that it was populated with a spirit that had some kind of a mass, because once the soul leaves the spirit, the body weighs less amount of weight, so it loses weight. So the part of the perispirit that it's kind of semi-material that connects the spirit to the body also disintegrates. So you lose part of your perispirit, which is connected uh, totally to the body, and your physical body, bones, organs, eyesight, hair, all that pretty stuff we like to do every morning. But yes, it all goes away.
Exactly. So this is what happens. So the physical body dies, dissolves, goes onto the ugly processes or not, depending of what's going to happen to what that person desires. Me, for example, I want to be cremated. But as Kardec mentioned here, it's almost like a freedom because you get freed from the physical body that sometimes is sick, is going through all kinds of problems, but your spirit lives forever. So your physical body dies and your spirit wakes up in the other side of life. This is the beautiful thing. So
Yes.
we never die.
Nope.
We are eternal spirits. Eternal spirits. What dies is the physical body. And okay, sometimes we're like, okay, I'm actually happy to lose that one because I will get a brand new one soon. Yeah, Mark?
I just wanted to comment that a couple of years ago, I heard a presentation, and the individual giving that presentation said, anytime I'm in a discussion about the Spiritist principles of death and the word cremation is used, he said, I always like to point something out, and I'm doing that right now, and that's to simply say, don't be so quick to have yourself cremated. Make sure that those who are taking care of your wishes know about 48 hours later. Let your
Yes.
body time to cut the cords.
Disconnect from the
Cut,
perispirit.
cut the
Yes.
cords. Yes.
Exactly. As Chico Xavier mentioned, it's even better 72 hours because
Yes.
we don't know
Yes.
how much you are connected to your
That's
physical body.
that
But
is exactly
yes,
right.
the first thing and most important of all is that you really want that. Because if you don't even want that, your family member will send you there is even more problematic.
Yes.
So think what you want is your desire what you think is best, and then yes, would be good to wait at least for 72 hours. In America, it's easier because basically every single person has to wait for many hours because they always put you in the freezer and they wait. I don't even know why they wait so much. It's like crazy. But in Brazil, for example, you die in the morning, in the evening, they are burying you. It's
Yeah.
insane. Insane.
The refrigerators don't have an industry of refrigeration for corpse in
Yes.
Brazil.
So they are quick. They are like, okay, that's it. Bye-bye. And then they're like, oh my God, this person has a family member that lives far away. Wait. And there is a huge problem to wait. But very good, my friends. We are over the time. I'm super happy to have all of you participating with us. It was really good to have all your questions, basically your comments. This time we really didn't have questions. A lot of comments. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark and Claudia. It was a blessing to have you here. And Mark, you are coming to Florida, so I want to already give you work. Can you do our final prayer, please?
Of course.
Can you put the image up for the final prayer, Mama? I think I was able to make it a little bigger. Let's see.
Oh, good. Now it's good.
I switched monitors. That's why.
God, we thank you for this time to become educated and to educate. We thank you for the free will to participate as we have. We thank you for the spirits that guide this group and us individually. God, there is so much to be grateful for. And we humbly request permission to end tonight's session. And so be it.
So be it. Wow, beautiful image, Claudia. Loved it. Loved it.
Yes,
So,
yes.
my friends, you are still here with us. I just wanted to let you all know next Tuesday, if you're here in Miami and you would like to come to me at INNERLIGHT, we are going to be presenting a marvelous movie. It's really a beautiful movie. It is a real story. Like we like to say in Spiritism, they are all real stories that the mediums tell us, the spirits tell us. And my husband always say, Spiritist movies, we start the movie already crying. And we laugh and cry until the end. So
remember to take tissues because this is not different.
It is true.
Yes.
We always like we start crying.
This movie is not going to be different. You need tissue boxes.
Yeah, I know. But it is the only way because we need to understand death to understand the waking up in the spiritual realm. So death for us is painful, is ugly, is sad, is difficult. But when we start understanding the waking up in the spiritual realm, then it's so much better. Claudia was putting so many pictures. I wish I had searched for this picture, but let's visualize. It's a hospital bed with a very, very sick elderly lady. And she has her family around the bed, has her son, has the wife and the two grandkids. They are around the bed when she is dying. And then it shows that they are crying because she died. And then it in the same picture shows her spirit in a lighter light, sitting on bed and being surrounded by many spirits who had died before her. Even the dog is there waiting for her. So we see so much sadness here, but many times our loving family members wake up to a beautiful surprise because they see lots of people they loved and had gone before. So this is the image that I would like to leave you guys. If I find it, I will put in our WhatsApp chat so you can see it. My friends, thank you so much. It was a blessing having all of you here. And hopefully can see you again next month to chapter 11. Mwah! Thank you. God bless you all. Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody. Thanks for the